Hello everyone, this is Carlos again with Biassa. I'm today again in Bucharest at the Ecom team, and I'm with Mattei Psatta. So Mattei, thank you so much.
Thank you.
The reason why I'm interviewing Mattei is because he's a highly experienced marketer, and one of a good friend in Denmark, spoke highly of him. We tried to speak in the past. So finally I have the opportunity of talking briefly to Mattei. So Mattei, thank you so much. Mattei, you are now the founder, one of the co-founders ahead of the TPS Engaged. But before we talk about the company and what you guys are doing, how about we we start with the big picture and we learn a bit more about you and your experience.
Sure. So, my experience pretty much started in social media initially. So because what happened in Romania at least was that in 2010-2011 there was this huge boom of companies asking for social media campaigns.
Okay.
And at the time I just started working in 2010 at a PR agency, which said, okay, people are asking for social media, so let's do social media. And they said, okay, you have a Facebook account, so you can probably do social media, right? So I was kind of the intern that had to do social media, and I started off having no idea what I was doing, but I really liked the environment, so I started self-educating myself. I read pretty much everything you could find on the internet regarding social media, and in the past 7 years, basically, I started really understanding the medium and really loving it. So after the social media story at the PR agency, I went to Leo Burnett as the head of digital and digital strategy, which was a great experience because I had the opportunity to see how big brands are looking at digital, and honestly, some of them are doing it well, others are doing it incomplete, let's say. So they see only a small picture of the whole ecosystem. So we had the chance to really try and convince them, okay, digital is more about posting something on Facebook or doing some banners or paying some local star to post about you on Instagram. And most of them had the opportunity to learn more. Then I was the head of marketing at Vola.ro, which is the biggest online tourism agency in Romania. And there I really got into e-commerce and performance marketing because it's a very data-driven company. So it was a great chance to see what spending the right buck in the right place can actually do for a company. And then, yes, we got founded on the startup that I did. And meanwhile, I don't really like to sleep, apparently. So in the meanwhile, in all this time, me and a couple of business partners started this startup that focuses on digital outdoor and how can we do the connection between the online environment and out-of-home digital advertising.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Before we get to the, to TPS Engaged, I'm also curious to understand the state of digital advertising, so to speak, in Romania, and if you could compare it to the to the US or other countries, just to understand how is the cost of acquisition increasing over the years.
Yeah. So, well, to be completely honest, the digital landscape in Romania is kind of still developing. So there are a lot of companies that are just wasting money and just pushing towards normal awareness campaigns, and these are usually the big brands who do this and don't have an actual tracking system behind it.
Just inflating the market.
Exactly. So they're just inflating the market, and they're just pushing more money basically to Facebook and Google. And this is one of the reasons that the market doesn't have a lot of transparency, is because a very high percentage of the money invested in online marketing is going to Facebook and Google.
Okay.
And as you know, that can be really tracked locally because the money goes to Ireland where it's accounted and so far and so forth. So basically what the local internet market is doing, they're kind of fighting with the media agencies, trying to propose more premium formats, but the market got used to getting really high volumes at a really cheap cost. So you can't really do qualitative stuff. And the whole fight is now, okay, how much is my discount? How much can I get with this money? Well, I gave you a previous campaign that was worth 10,000 euros, so I want this one for 5,000, so far and so forth. So honestly, it's a bit of the wild, wild west. But the good part is, because it's the wild, wild west, the moment someone comes in, and Vola is a good example of this, and does things properly, they have a way bigger chance of succeeding. So it's kind of, the red ocean and blue ocean strategy.
Right.
So it's similar. If you go into the online market now with a very performance-driven, in Romania, with a very performance-driven strategy, it's more or less a blue ocean. It's getting muddier because you have big players. So you have kind of what we call the local Amazon, which is EMAG, which is the biggest e-retailer in the country, which is doing great stuff. But still, you have a lot of room to play. So it's kind of muddy, but it's starting to clear up. Cool. And cost of acquisition is getting higher, but it's still one of the lowest in the region.
How about when we look at your now let's talk about TPS Engaged and what problem you guys trying to solve?
Sure. So, well, one of the problems that we're trying to solve is the fact that what happened after the internet took over, right? And mobile. So the internet advertising looks like this over the year. TV looks like this. It went a bit down, but it's still more than half of the market if you look globally. Print basically died. Radio started going on a downslope, and outdoor stayed like this. So if you look, it had a small downwards gap when the crisis hit, but then it was perfectly flat. So we're saying, okay, rather than fighting with the same tools that everybody has in the online environment, how about we try to connect something that was originally considered ATL, so classic media, very boring, very non-targeted, very non-measurable. What if we do it in a measurable and targeted and smart way? So basically we're developing what Facebook Ads Manager is for Facebook. We're doing the same thing, so let's call it the Facebook Ads Manager of digital outdoor. So we're connecting with all the outdoor providers, offering them the software solution, and then we have this platform that allows anybody with just a click of a button and a credit card to buy digital outdoor space at a very low cost, because we always sell remaining inventory.
Okay, so you have a dashboard that the customers interact with, and that they can buy from this.
From TPS Engage.
And what is the challenge that you currently face? Because the idea is really interesting, and I was telling you that this seems to me like Minority Report.
Hopefully,
kind of, you know, when you walk past through
and
an
it knows
outdoor
it's
and
you.
then it knows it's you, that you like Guinness, for example. I love that film.
I know it.
What are the main challenges that you're currently facing from a customer standpoint?
So, funny enough, the big challenge is not people kind of when we tell them about this, the first thing that they say about GDPR or privacy. It's not that big of a deal, because in the outdoor market is heavily regulated in comparison to the online market, which is not. So we can't really do a lot of privacy invading stuff in outdoor, because all the data that we collect. So we have, for example, face recognition cameras on most of the outdoor, but we don't store the data. We just know that 3 men aged between 35 and 45, one in front of the screen when this ad went, but I don't know who they are, right? And what I can do is simply track their location, for example, through the various apps, but I don't know the amount of information that Facebook does or that Google does. So that's not the big challenge. The big challenge is basically introducing people to an environment that they didn't used to even consider, right? I mean, most of the e-commerce businesses don't even think, oh, I could buy some digital outdoor. No, they think it's expensive. They think it's non-performant, that it doesn't really work. And they think it's very complicated to do because I have to produce a video. And what we have to do is tell them it's pretty easy to do because you have a platform. It can be measured and you can see exactly. So do some experiments and see if it works for you, because in all honesty, it might not work for some companies, and that's perfectly fine, right? But at least experiment with it. If I say now, if I do a chair selling company tomorrow, and I say digital outdoor doesn't work for me, that's bullshit. Sorry for the words, but it's bullshit because I didn't try it before. It might work for my business model. And the fourth is obviously showing them that is a lot of people actually still are influenced by it.
Do you have specific verticals already that you're seeing a bit more traction than others?
So I think out of e-commerce, we're seeing more interesting traction from fashion, for example, because one of the things that we can do pretty interesting is create a lot of dynamic content. So say it rains, right? If it's raining, fashion e-commerce can put clothes that are appropriate for that weather. If it's sunny, they can put a bikini suit or whatever, right? And that can be done automatically. So it doesn't need to be, someone doesn't need to look at the weather every day and say, okay, time to switch the creative, right? Which you couldn't do until now. And now things like this and all of basically creative templates that let you do, like Facebook has a product catalog. You just link in the products and then everything is done dynamically. So that's where we see a lot of traction now.
Very, very interesting. Mattei, we spoke a little bit about, so you are being funded by Techstars, right?
Yeah.
And you're currently present in 3 countries.
Yeah.
Can you comment on the expansion strategy a little bit?
Yeah, sure. So the initial market was Romania. We started here. Then we got selected and funded by Techstars Dubai. So the most important market for us right now is Dubai, because it has the benefit of being a smart city, right? Okay, Bucharest is a great city because I live there and I like it because I was born there. But it isn't by far as smart in terms of technical development environment as Dubai is, right? So there the market is much more ready for a solution such as ours. And the third one is US, where we've done a couple of experiments and we're doing more to see the traction, in which, for example, we're trying to connect some screens in Times Square and actually make them smarter than they are now.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cool. So, last question. What's next?
Well, at some point, obviously taking over the world, so we say, so Asia is a really interesting market for us. But like any digital product, you know how it is, it's never fully done. So I can say, okay, we've done the platform, now it's over. We won't stop we will never stop working at the platform. So we're adding new features. We're, for example, doing stuff for various brands that want dedicated campaigns, and they want us to connect with their Google Analytics, so we can correlate when the ads are being run to how the sales and traffic is looking like. So we're doing a lot of special campaigns like that. We've actually had the chance of being the winners at Dubai Links, which is the local Cannes Lion festival, and we're going to be present at Cannes Lion as well. So a lot of interesting things in the future. Let's say it's looking more than bright.
Congratulations.
Great, thank you very
so
much.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Yeah,
Bye.
Cheers.